Croiso, and welcome back to the Cymru Nerd Cave, represented as always by this amazingly white void. How are you all? Hope you're doing well. Hope everything's going as well as it possibly can be, given, you know, everything. But today, we're not talking about now, we are talking about the early 90s, when Sega had a great console out called the Mega Drive, the Sega Mega Drive. And the star of this Sega Mega Drive was a blue hedgehog that everybody in Europe loved, and America as well, and kind of Japan, and he was called Sonic the Hedgehog. And he was very famous indeed, and everybody loved him, and he was brilliant. And I still love him 30 years later. He's 30 years this year, 30 years old. Amazing. Yeah, 1991. And such was his popularity that he got 2 official yearbooks. Not annuals, didn't call them annuals, it was the 90s, they were yearbooks. And he got 2 of them, 91, 92, 92, 93. This is the 91, 92. And we're going to have a look at it today because it's rather awesome. Well, some of it is. Kind of, sort of, but not really spun off Sonic the Comic. Which was a publication made by Fleetways, which made things like Judge Dredd and Buster, I think they made, and things like that. They brought 2 of these out, basically riding the wave of popularity until the sort of mid-90s, when this didn't become popular, and Mario sort of pushed past and got more popular, and the Mega Drive sort of got old and died a death, as these things often do. And football became more popular. Really, that's kind of what did for a lot of things like this in the early 90s. Football became popular because the Premier League became a thing, and kids got into sport rather than they got into, video games. Not always, but mostly it did happen. So yeah, they made 2 of these. We're going to have a look at these. We're going to have a look at this one, the 91, 92, because I got it recently. I kind of like it. It gives me a big hit of nostalgia. I know the guys, Dave and Chris over at Sonic the Comic, the podcast, aren't big fans of these, but I don't know. I'm just a sucker for an annual. So let's have a look. So on the cover, we have Sonic in the Green Hill Zone, or at least a depiction of the Green Hill Zone. You can see the old, what would you call that? The loop, I guess. With a few badniks about, some golden rings. You've got Tails in the corner there, and you've got Dr. Robotnik stroke Eggman stroke whatever you want to call him, I don't care. And you've also got his Sonic the Hedgehog logo with, like I say, yearbook in there. Exactly the same on the back. And on the spine you've got, well, let me pull this here, Sonic the Hedgehog Yearbook and Grand Dreams. People who like Transformers annuals will know Grand Dreams because they used to make them. They used to make sort of the higher end annuals, the Grand Dreams. The lower end ones, usually world distributors, and they were sort of a bit rubbish and a bit, not great. We'll look at some at some point, I am sure. The other thing that you need to have a look at here is this little bit where it says, win a Mega CD in our great free-to-enter competition, which sometimes you did get competitions and annuals, but not very often. This is certainly not winning a Mega CD. Would you want to? We'll have a look later. So opening it up shows us our first big splash, and our first big splash is some incredibly low resolution video game screenshots. But in the early 90s you wouldn't have cared about that because you would have said video game screenshots. It was something you just didn't see. And especially if you didn't own the games, which, you know, not everyone who had this would have been able to own a Mega Drive and own the games, but they might necessarily have been fans of Sonic the Hedgehog. These are all from Sonic the Hedgehog 2, anyway, mostly, I think, at least, because you can see Tails on a lot of them. He's there as well, in all the zones. Excellent stuff. Love it. That might be from the first one, because that looks very Green Hill Zone. But yeah, mainly from Sonic 2. I would say. And like I say, low resolution continues because, oh, that's hard on the eyes in 2021. But in 1991, you would have bloody loved it because you'd have said, oh, video game screenshot, that's directly from the game. How awesome. And then a very blank page with just his logo and the Sega Enterprises, and edited by Barry Tomlinson at Creative Editorial Services, and then Grand Dreams Limited because they made it printed in Italy, interestingly enough. Very odd. Also some content, but we won't go through that because that is just spoilers, isn't it? So first off we have Sonic the Hedgehog in cartoon Concerto, and yeah, these strips have been much maligned by the guys at Sonic the Comic the Podcast because they're a bit lightweight. Because, of course they are. They're from an annual. They're not going to put the best stuff in an annual. But they did commission stuff that was new, which isn't always the case with annuals. Sometimes you get reprints. I've got loads of Superman annuals, which are basically just reprints of the comics that you wouldn't have got over here, frankly, but they're still reprints. These, at least, are original artwork. I think it's Richard Elson and Nigel Kitching. I could be wrong. Thing is, you can't tell because they're not credited. One of the shitty things that they used to do in annuals back in the day, I don't think they do it anymore in annuals that still come out, but back in the day, the companies that made them would basically say, well, we own it, you might have drawn it, we owned it, we don't have to credit you, we ain't gonna. And DC Thompson did that a lot, and the people who made the Beano and the Dandy and all that kind of gubbins, they would never credit. You would sometimes see someone's signature, and you might see someone's signature in here, I might have missed it, but generally you don't see sort of credits drawn by, yeah, Marvel UK at least didn't do that. They did credit people, but these guys clearly didn't. I don't know why. I don't know why. Must be a pay thing. Anyway, so the basic story of this, and I'm not going to go through it panel by panel, is that Dr. Robotnik is again sick of Sonic being Sonic and being his sort of superhero-y self, and therefore decides that he's going to get him because that's what Dr. Robotnik does. He decides, after watching some cartoons, that he's going to use some of the plans that the protagonist in the cartoons uses to try and catch the mouse. Very Tom and Jerry-esque stuff here. Although some of the plans he uses are basically Roadrunner. So it's basically a Roadrunner cartoon. He's seen one of those. He thinks, right, I'm going to do that. And it doesn't go well for him. I will say, he's drawn really well there. I really like that. He's quite scary. He's got no pupils. But yeah, he goes out and he decides, first off, tunnel on the wall. Why not? I mean, it's a tried and tested thing. And as always, Sonic does what the Roadrunner does and runs right through with no problems. Robotnik tries it and basically bops himself. So his next plan is to get some gold rings or some metal rings, paint them up gold, then use a massive magnet to try and catch Sonic. Again, doesn't work. Either because Sonic's too fast or because, I don't know, cartoons. And there we go. And then very finally, he decides to use glue. If you can get Sonic to run through some glue, Sonic's going to get stuck fast. And yeah, again, it doesn't work. Dr. Robotnik gets stuck fast and gets hit by some, what the hell? Is it meteors? I don't know. I see, lava. It's a lava zone. So yeah, he gets covered in lava and yeah, decides that if I never see another cartoon, it'll be too soon. Which grammatically, quite correct. Moving on, like I say, they're lightweight. Next up, we get a really good clip art picture of Sonic there. Love it. It's classic, isn't it? It's off the cover of the game. And you get what's called the Sonic interview, which I'm not going to read out, but it's basically, you saw this with the real Ghostbusters annual, where you get a fake journalist asking questions of the real Ghostbusters, and it's like a puff piece for a newspaper. And yeah, it just gives a bit of colour to the proceedings, a bit more character. Who is this Sonic guy? Is this one? And yeah, it's very much British Sonic. So it's the Sonic that's a little bit cocky, a little bit cool for school, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's good. It is really good. You should read it, and it's got some nice art in it. I do like Sonic just sort of motoring through the middle of the whole thing there. That gives, like I say, a basic overview of the games, so that if you are someone who plays the games, then it gives you that little bit of colour. It also has a nice piece of clip art at the bottom there of Sonic 2. Lovely. Moving on, Balloon Sonic. They did a hot air balloon in the early 90s for the 1993 Sega European Motor Racing Grand Prix. Yeah, there you go. Brilliant stuff. I especially like the Sega trailer and Land Rover at the bottom there. Love it. I mean, I miss things like that. Game Shots next. It's like a little quiz, but it's a bit flawed because, yeah, some of the questions they do repeat the games. So basically, you got to look at the screenshots and then name the game. So questions 1 and 2. All we want is the name of the dolphin. Well, that's clearly Echo, isn't it? And then at the bottom there, a spear flashes through the air. Can you name the game? That's the X-Men. Tasmania is the next game there. Then you've got Palm Trees and a Calm Sea. Are you calm enough to name the game title? Well, that's Kid Chameleon, I think. As is that one. The next one is Kid Chameleon, which is weird. And then Sonic the Hedgehog. It says, an easy one. We want the full title of the game for a correct answer. So a lot of kids, I'm guessing, would have said Sonic. Tasmania again. Mainly to know about the fact that you've got Taz on there. And then top right here, X-Men again, because you've got Jean Grey. I love that. Everyone's got really cool names except Jean Grey. Who are you? Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Jean Grey. Then you got Evander Holyfield for the guy who's getting boxed. This is pre-bitey ear Evander Holyfield. And then box art for Kid Chameleon again. Very odd. So it repeats it 4 times. 3 or 4 times. Very odd. Then we've got another strip called Speed Demons. And yeah, this one is basically a chase. It's a chase. Robotnik again gets sick of Sonic and decides to put a turbo boost in his Eggo-matic and then chase after Sonic. And the artwork's nice. Don't get me wrong. I do like the artwork. It's not the best, but I do like it. It's got him going around saving loads of animals from the badniks and collecting lots of gold rings, and then a chase. Nothing much to really talk about. It's very exciting for a chase. It's very nice. It's got some clip art in there because of course it does. Sonic looks good though. It's just a bit boring. Well, no, boring's the wrong word. I'm being harsh. It's not boring, it's lightweight. But it's supposed to be lightweight. It's an annual. So there you go. They used to do this all the time in the Sonic comic. They used to get some stars who would go to events because that's what they did. And then they would basically go pose with a Game Gear or pose with a Mega Drive. And yeah, they're generally Z-listers, a lot of sports stars in there. Let's see if I can explain who some of these people are for people who are like under 30. So this dude here is Ben Volpellier Piero, or Piero. And he was the lead singer of a band called Curiosity in the 90s. They were formerly called Curiosity Killed the Cat. They came back in the 90s for like a minute and then went away again. And I don't think they've done anything since. Apart from when they do the Back to the 80s flashback concerts that they used to do. Yeah, they would be part of those sort of things. But there you go. On the bottom there, you've got a footballer called Lee Chapman, played for Leeds United mainly. Famously married to Leslie Ash. And there used to be rumours of Eric Cantona leaving Leeds United because of something to do with Lee Chapman. And that's as far as I'm going with that. But I do like his Sega sweatshirt. I really like that. That's really cool. Do that again, please, Sega. Next page. Oh, see, that is a time capsule for you. So, on the left of the picture here, you have the England manager, as was then, Graham Taylor. You've got, everybody knows who that is, Gary Lineker. Former footballer, now host of Match of the Day. This is during the period when Graham Taylor managed England and he didn't manage them very well and was slated in the press really unfairly because he was a good manager at club level but not at England level for whatever reason. It was a fallow period. They just didn't have a good team at the time. But yeah, famously didn't get to the World Cup finals in 1994 and was fired. And yeah, passed away a couple of years ago, but apparently a really nice guy, good manager. I like to say everybody knows who Gary Lineker is, and they're posing with Sonic and a Game Gear. Then we have a quiz. Guess who? Identify the famous faces. I will have a go at this because I haven't looked at the answers. So, these two clowns up here, both played for Man United, I think. I think that's Paul Parker, who was a defensive midfielder, I think. And then Brian McClare, who was a forward, who basically didn't get used much when Cantona came, but was still an integral part of the team. Number 2 is a cricketer, and I think that cricketer is Graham Gooch. I think Gooch. I think that's him. I don't really know cricket, so correct me if I'm wrong. Number 4 is an England rugby player called Rory Underwood, who was a big part of the team in the 90s, along with players like Will Carling and that kind of thing. That's Andy Crane. Everybody knows Andy Crane in Britain because he was part of the Broom Cupboard. He was the host of the Broom Cupboard in the 80s and 90s, and was also one of the presenters of Bad Influence along with the marvellous Violet Berlin. This is a weird one. So that's Julian Clary, the comedian, who I don't think has any idea about games whatsoever. He's holding the controller upside down because he doesn't have a clue about games. He's just at an event. Really good, funny comedian. This is just before he made a rather risque crack at the Comedy Awards. I think it was 94, 95 possibly, that he'd been doing rude things with the then Chancellor, Norman Lamont, and that's why he was late to the stage. Kind of got him blacklisted off telly for a bit. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. Next up we've got, that's definitely Gaza. So Paul Gascoigne, when he was part of the England setup. 8, I don't know who 8 is. Let's have a look. Who is that? Is that David Platt? I think that could be David Platt. So he was the England captain at the time, which makes sense. Like I say, it wasn't a great period. Yeah, I think that's David Platt. Underneath that, you've got number 9 is Andy Peters, who doesn't look any different. Apparently, he bathes in the blood of virgins. I'm guessing. Number 10, early 90s. Is that Cassie Dennis? Let's have a look. The answers. Yes, that is Cassie Dennis. So Cassie Dennis, famously from Norwich, one of Alan Partridge's mates apparently. She was a singer, but she didn't have much success on her own. But then she started writing songs for other people. And one especially, she's written a lot of very successful songs, but one especially was Kylie Minogue's Can't Get You Out of My Head. Made her shitloads of money with the bass player from Mud. Weird. And, oh dear. Okay, well, moving on then. So, exclusive competition for readers of Sonic the Hedgehog Yearbook. Win a Mega CD. So the failed Mega CD that I kind of like, but not many people seem to. You could win one of those, and all you have to do is you need to take a look at the group of Robotniks, Badniks on the opposite page, and identify them, and say why you'd like to win a Mega CD. So let's see what we do. So that's a Motorbug. I do know that. That is a Caterpillar. I don't know what that is. Is that a flapper? I'd say flapper. I could be wrong. And that's a Buzz Bomber. So I've got 3 of them that I definitely know. I think that's a flapper. I don't think Bat Brain. I don't think that makes sense. But anyway, you've got to fill that out and get it in. When's the closing date? 20th February 1994. Oh, okay. Never mind. I might have missed that one. Never mind. You could also colour them in, I guess. What, did they have a tie break? Yeah, I would like to own a Mega CD because in 30 years' time they're going to be worth a lot of money on eBay. There you go. Nailed it. Next up, one of the better strips from Sonic the Comic the podcast was the Shinobi one, all about Ninja Master Joe Musashi. This one says that he's hot on the trail of the Neo-Zed, who were the sinister renegade ninja clan. They assassinated his teacher and abducted the only woman he ever loved, Naoko. So yeah, it's really, really nice artwork here. Lovely stuff. Moody, I would say. Sort of cinematic almost. Good lighting effects on it. And you don't always see that in British kids comics in the early 90s. They are all a bit rubbish, some of them, quite frankly, especially licensed stuff, which they're kind of done with by this point. I mean, this is post Transformers, this is post Real Ghostbusters. But yeah, you got really good, nice smoke effects here, and a good ninja fight, a little bit of violence there for, I suppose, it kicks on it. They would tone it down in Sonic the Comic the Podcast to make it more kidified, but when it first started, when it was the Sega Superstars, it was really, really well done, and they took great care to try and make it as, not adult, but sort of for older kids as well as younger kids. So that if you were a younger kid, you kind of felt that you were getting away with something, and if you're an older kid, your interest would be piqued, and you could maybe also give the kiddified cartoons a read as well, you know. Well, like I say, really nice fight, really nice artwork, very moody, love it. Then we got some reviews. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. They're not going to trash it, are they? Because it's a Sonic annual. So basically, it's less a review and more this is how you do things, or this is what happens in the game. Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, this is on the Mega CD, and they don't kill it. I think it's one of those, if you play it once, you kind of played it. There's no replay value to this game at all, which is a shame. But there you go. They're not mean about it. They're quite sort of heavy-handed, even-handed. Wolfchild, which is a famous one that a lot of people don't get on with. I really liked it. Again, this was a Mega CD one, and I have played it on emulation since. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It was all right. You could turn into a wolf, basically. Yeah, it's all right. This one didn't have for the Mega Drive. Never played it on the Mega Drive, but I did play it on the Amiga. This Jaguar XJ220, really, really good game, good racing game. Kind of like Outrun, but a bit more serious. But yeah, very nice. You can also listen to different music tracks and change them in game and that kind of thing. And the Amiga version is fantastic. And they say here it's a really good game, and it's one that I must try and get hold of for my Mega Drive because I kind of miss playing it. Fantastic game. Flintstones for the Mega Drive. Yeah, I mean, it's shite. They again quite even-handed with it, but I didn't like it. It was a lot of these games were rubbish, and the Flintstones were coming back because of course they had that really, really terrible film with John Goodman. I actually preferred the Mark Addy one. I thought it was better, but there you go. They're still rubbish. Sega news, which will be out of date by the time you get it. New 6-button arcade power stick, really cool. I really want one. Look at the state of that though. Look at it. It's, oh god, I love it so much. It's such a load of rubbish. I also like the Mega Drive too. I haven't got one, and I might have to get one at some point. But there you go. You can get the 6-button arcade power stick. You can also see more of the balloon. Look at it flying. Look at it fly. Look at it fly. Look at it. Which is really cool. Mega Drive design changes, so it's the new Mega Drive console. It's not new, it's the Mega Drive 2. It's the same as the current Mega Drive, except for a number of new design features. It will have a new, smoother, sleeker shape. The power and reset buttons will be on top of the unit and be coloured red. It will have a cheaper build quality. It doesn't say that, but it is true. It also loses the volume control and some of the charm of the first one, though I really like it because I used to have one, so I can't hate it. I kind of love you. Street Fighter 2 fights out on Mega Drive. Street Fighter 2 finally came to Mega Drive, which if you've got the Mini, you already know this. Yeah, good game. I like it. It's not as good as Mortal Kombat, though. Then you've got a pin-up of Sonic. It's basically the cover of the annual. Really nice. And then Double Sonic. Artwork in this, not as good. They really liked the Sharpie marker in this one, didn't they? But it's, look, that's classic from the game. You do have to like it. And this is basically going to be 2 Sonics, isn't it? I'm trying. I haven't read this for a long time, so I'm just trying to look. So it's basically running the zone at this point. He's running the zone. He gets a motor bug. He releases Flicky. There he is. Look, that's Flicky. And then he runs a bit more, and then releases. I don't know if that's Johnny, but it could be. It doesn't say. But he said, look, definitely Flicky. I know Flicky told me all about it. So he's on to the rescue scene. Lots of his friends are imprisoned. He lets them out, but he didn't. It's a trap. It's basically a bomb or a hologram. And then, yeah, you've got the final boss there. But it's all right because Tails appears. And says, are you all right, pal? I'm totally stuck. You saved me, Tails. He wouldn't have said that. He'd have said, oh, you didn't need to save me. I was all right. There you go. And then Sonic builds something and puts on a few pounds. Yeah. Robotnik tries to get him. And yeah, he just basically hits Robotnik a few times and then tricks him because he's made a double of himself. There we go. There's where the double Sonic is. Robotnik tries to get him, smashes through the duplicate, which gives Sonic the opportunity to bop the Egg-O-Matic and blow it up. And then he releases all his friends. And yeah, I mean, okay, I guess. It's very cartoony, very lightweight, but they all have been. But that's okay. And that's the end of that. You get more. Well, it's the same ones, isn't it? The same video game screenshots. Lovely stuff, though. And yeah, look, that is a time capsule of 1992, 93. I bloody love it. I know people say they're lightweight and they're not very good, but I don't know. There's something about the early 90s when I was a bit too old for this sort of thing. But I still kind of liked it, but I kind of trying to deny to myself that I didn't. So I was a weird in-betweeny, late teens, mid-teens, and I'm too cool for this, but kind of like it anyway. And in my 40s, I just really like it, and I love Sonic the Hedgehog. So I hope you enjoyed that. I will be back very soon with another annual, different one next time though. But yeah, do enjoy looking at that. If you can buy it, it is on eBay, and it's for very reasonable prices. It seems that people don't want them, so yeah. Go on eBay, have a look. Also, I shall be back with you very, very soon. Do take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye for now.